So here's what your homework assignment is going to be today. You're going to practice making a couple of these frequency tables. So I've already got the data collected. In this data, first of all, I'm in Google Sheets. So just go to Google, or actually just type in Sheets, and it should take you to sheets.google.com. But you can go to your drive and create new, and you can create a new sheet. If you had to do this on your own. But here you just had to open up this, you'll just have to open up your assignment. You'll see what the question is. In this case, the question was, if you have an Instagram account, how often do you visit the site? Now, this is just a made-up question with some made-up data. So in this question, the people that were asked who had an Instagram account, those individuals, we recorded whether they visited it daily. We had 140 people say yes, or weekly. We had 49 people say, yeah, weekly I do it. Less often was 58 out of a total of only 247 people out of all the ones they asked actually had an Instagram account. So let's go ahead now. And this is all done on my tablet, so you can do it as well. When you get to your assignment, our first question is here, make a frequency bar chart. So when you do that, what you want to do first is you want to select your data. So I've tapped on the word daily. I'm grabbing the little dot in the lower right hand corner and expanding it and just dragging until I highlight the data I want to graph. Notice I did not select the total. Once I've done that, you'll see in the upper right hand corner, right, you'll see that red dot there that just says I'm recording, but you'll see the A with the underline and then a plus sign. That plus sign is what you want to press on. And when I press on that, I have the option to insert a chart. So I'm going to choose chart. And it's trying to make a chart from this data. Right now it's trying to make a line chart. So we're going to change that to a bar chart. So I'm looking at the columns here, and I'm choosing the first column chart. And you can see there's my data graph. So let's give this stuff some names. The legend, I don't need a legend for this. So we're just going to select none. For my titles, for my chart title, I'm going to put what it is. I'm going to type in frequency of visits on Instagram. Be specific about what you're recording the information for. So you can see our title is now up at the top. Let's check our horizontal axis. That's our genres. The types. Our vertical axis is the frequency. And we'll try to spell, yeah, I got frequency spelled right. Now be careful here. Once you're done with your graph and you're happy with your titles, and you're happy with your X scale and everything's categorized right, make sure you hit the check mark in the upper left. And so now your table is on your cells, or your worksheet. And I'm just going to grab it and slide it down. So I've answered number 1. I've made my frequency bar chart. Let's go ahead and stack that right there. The next thing we want to do is make a relative frequency chart. Well, to do a relative frequency chart, we have to figure out the percentage or the decimal part, the proportion that each one of these are of the total. So our total is 247, so daily would be 140 out of 247, and weekly would be 49 out of 247, and so on and so forth. Now we could calculate those with our calculator, but instead of doing that, we're going to use our spreadsheet. We're just going to make a column right next to it right there. And in that column, hopefully I double tap, and I'm going to put my relative frequency in there. That's the proportion of the whole that they represent. And then I am going to have my calculator, or not my calculator, rather. I'm going to have sheets here calculate this for me. So I want to get my answer in that highlighted square right now. So I'm going to tap inside there. I'm going to put an equal sign. Now an equal sign tells the spreadsheet here that you want to do a calculation. And the calculation I want to do is the total number of daily people who visit. So I tap it, and you can see it puts B4 in there because that B4 represents where that 140 is located. Then I want to divide that by, so I'm going to choose my division symbol right there. And I want to divide it by 247. So I'm just going to type in 247 like so. Now hit enter. And thank goodness it gave me it to 3 decimal places just like I want. Okay, and I just repeat that process. You can frequently just grab, and so I've highlighted that. I drag down. Sometimes it'll autofill for you, but I can't quite figure out how to do that on Excel, so that's all right. Or not Excel, but in the Google Sheet. So we'll just do the same calculation here again. And I'll put in equals, but this time I want the 49 divided by 247. I'll hit return. And then lastly, I'll put equals. Oops, my equal sign go, there we go. And 58 divided by the 247. So there is each of their relative frequencies. Now remember, the sum of the relative frequencies should always equal 1, so we can actually, in this last column, just verify that we're doing it right. So I'm going to go in there and say equals, and you can actually sum your column. I'm going to type the word sum, and sum what? I'll put this in parentheses, sum this one through that one, and I'll close my parentheses. So now it should, I don't know why there's a comma there. Yeah, I'm sure you need to get in there. Yeah. There we go, see if that works. So that summed everything in that column, and you can see it does add up to 1. All the parts should give you a total of 1. Now let's go ahead and graph this. So again, I want to select my data that I want to graph. So I'm going to select this first column. Hopefully that will stay. And now I can't figure out how to select the other column. So I'm going to go ahead and graph the whole thing. We'll see what happens. Then maybe I can just take out the frequency part. So I'm going to hit plus, and we're going to add a chart. And titles and color, type column chart. See if it will select or let us adjust. Oh, I see what it's done. Here's our legend on the right. Now I want to get rid of the blue data if I can, because you can see my red data, that red at the very bottom where it says daily, weekly, less often, and total. That is actually doing the actual frequency instead of the relative frequencies. The relative frequencies are here in red. So we got to figure out how to adjust our chart selection. Horizontal axis, that's just your title. So when we do this, we're going to have to highlight those. See what that does when I make a chart. Yeah, no data. And could maybe hide that. Maybe it'll let me select that to there. Let's see what that does. No, still graphing all the data. I'm going to pause this, and then we come back here. I'll show you how to